Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. I am the Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Ewan. I declare this meeting open at 5:32 p.m. This meeting of council has been called to consider a report which is confidential under the Local Government Act of 2020. This is because the report contains personal information, which if released would result in unreasonable disclosure of different information about an individual's personal affairs. This item is the only business to be considered at this meeting. It is proposed that council designates the item as a confidential item under the Local Government Act 2020 and determines to close the meeting to members of the public. This meeting will be closed to the public, but it will be streamed live through a link published on the Brimbank City Council's website. If council determines to close the meeting to members of the public to consider the confidential report, the live stream of this meeting will be paused so that council can consider the report. We'll proceed to item number 1, which is the opening. Please stand for the acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri people, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. As the council, we will act in the best interests of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make these decisions fairly and without bias. We will uphold all of our obligations under the laws of Victoria and council's local laws, and will act in accordance with our code of conduct. I note there are no apologies for tonight's meeting. We'll move on to item 4, which is the disclosure of conflicts of interest. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest? Thank you, councillors. There are no declarations of conflicts of interest. Oh, you may sit down. Okay. So there is one item to be designated as confidential. May I have a mover of a motion to designate the item as confidential? Councillor Liu?
Madam Mayor, I'll move the confidential report 6.1 as per containing personal information, the information which will, if released, result in no reasonable disclosure of information. That's confidential.
Thank you, Councillor Liu. Is there a seconder of the motion? Councillor Rasik?
Second.
Thank you. Does anyone want to speak to the motion? Councillor Liu as mover? No, thank you. Councillor Rasik?
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favour, please raise your hand. I declare that motion carried. There is one confidential report to be considered this evening. May I have a mover of a motion to close the meeting to members of the public for the consideration of report 6.1, which has been designated as confidential?
The motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Papalia. Is there a seconder of the motion? Councillor David?
Second, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor David. Would the mover of the motion like to speak? Seconder?
No, Madam Mayor.
Yep. Thank you. Any other people want to speak to this motion? If not, we'll move this to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. I declare that motion carried. Okay, so thank you to everyone who's currently viewing the live stream of this meeting. This meeting will now be closed to members of the public. He will be placed in the holding bay for the duration of the consideration of the confidential item. As the report is the last item for this evening, members of the public may wish to stop viewing, in which case I would like to thank the public for their interest in tonight's meeting. We will open the meeting to the public after this item is considered by council. The meeting is now closed to members of the public at 5:37 p.m. I declare this meeting reopened at 5:57 p.m. Council has considered the confidential report and resolved that council will publicly release this report without any confidential attachments and resolutions on Friday, the 3rd of December, 2021. Thank you all for attending and for your interest in tonight's meeting. I declare this meeting closed at 5:57 p.m.